not and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Wherein the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone, actually.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Wearing the Folk. I hope everybody's had a fantastic weekend. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the news this week, huh, guys?
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, a lot of crazy things, The wildest thing is I had to go in the office this week, and I had to sit next to Nick for like 4 days. Let's see. So I guess we'll get right into it. Where do you want to get started this fine evening?
Well, I slid an article in here, and this could count as the Friday Feel Good, but I just wanted to let everybody know who may care about this. So current and former members of the band Killswitch Engage came out this week and said that there is going to be a new project and there's going to be a new album in 2025. So it's going to include Howard Jones, which is the in my opinion the Killswitch Engage singer, and the band's guitarist Adam.
I really like both singers pretty equal. Jamie started the band kind of. He was like the guy that was around when they first.
Hey Abe.
Hey Abe.
Hey.
He was the guy that was around when they first hit it big, so I still like Jamie. I like that he came back for a little while, but I also like Howard too.
The new band.
I'm curious. That's not the same Howard Jones from the 80s, right?
I don't think so. No, it can't be.
Sure not.
The new project though is going to be called Burn Eternal.
He sounds like an opera singer. Like, I don't know, I can't do opera singer. Like, this is like,
you can get there. I love
did
it,
a pretty
dude.
good job.
yeah. Jamie was more like raw, so untrained, I guess is what you would say.
Did you guys have a Friday Feel Good?
Well, I don't know how feel good it is. Well, no, I've been off all week. I was, Mo and I had our 35th wedding anniversary this past week.
Oh,
congratulations.
Yeah, well, thank you. We were going to do something and then life happened. So I'm like, you know what? I'm taking off anyway. So today I just got this huge inspiration of, I started cleaning and I'm like, you know what? I need to stop and eat lunch. I stopped to eat lunch and I have been in the kitchen ever since. I mean, I literally just got out of the kitchen for making 5 different soups. So
5 soups?
Yes, I made 15 bean soup with ham. I made shrimp gumbo. I made a pork it's called a Mississippi roast.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but I made it more into a stew. And then I did my mother used to make just this hamburger soup that was just hamburger and potatoes and rice and stuff, and I made that. And then I made a big thing of turkey and rice because I had all this leftover stuff that I froze after Thanksgiving, and I just started pulling stuff out of the freezer today. And here we are.
I'm with you, Easy. I'm just like, what are you doing with all these soups? Are you going to freeze them?
Yes.
I know there's soup beans, pork and beans, black beans, and
pintos, light kidneys, dark kidneys.
I don't even like beans, but now I feel like I'm going to have to do like a 25 bean soup just to one up it. Like,
to be fair, it comes in a bag already mixed.
When whenever Tully does his 25 bean soup, I'm going to have to make a 26.
30 beans.
26, just the 26. But yeah, the beans you buy them already blended. And to be fair, there's not there's also a split pea in there, and that to me is not a bean, but tomato, and everything. But yeah, it's really good if you use ham or like smoked sausage in it, and just I threw it in the pressure cooker, and we had soup in 45 minutes.
I do like the musical fruit sometimes. I do have a listener submitted update. This came from Nick in the comments there.
Linda.
Hey Linda. So a while back there was a sheriff that brutally murdered a judge in Eastern Kentucky, I believe it was. Not too far from where I live, I think. Maybe an hour.
Was it Wattsburg?
It's Wattsburg, yeah. Judge Kevin Mullins was murdered by Mickey Steins. This is how professional I am. I'm just got it on my phone. So there's been some updates to this. Audio recordings obtained by News Nation suggest that Judge Kevin Mullins, who was killed in the September attack, may have been involved for a sex for favor scheme.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, Doc.
Which could very well be the motive behind it, because as everybody knows, Sean Mickey Steins, who was the sheriff at the time, has pleaded not guilty to murder, even though there's video of walking in and murdering them. But
do they have evidence of sort of the blackmail that the judge was doing?
Well, it later goes on to say
allegedly
there are recordings that are tied to prior investigation of former deputy sheriff Ben Fields, who was convicted earlier this year of raping a female inmate. In the records, Sabrina Atkins, one of Fields' accusers, alleges that that videos exist showing sexual activity involving Mullins in his chambers. Atkins claims these acts were part of the scheme in which women were coerced into sexual acts in exchange for leniency in court or reduced bail. Let's see.
I mean, here's the thing: if the evidence does exist that this person was raping women and coercing prisoners, I mean, it's probably whenever they go to court, it's probably not going to be a far shot for the dude to be like, he was sexually inappropriate with my daughter, or
Yeah. Atkins' attorney described the courthouse activities as resembling a brothel. Atkins herself stated she viewed one of the recordings identifying Mullins as one of the individuals involved. Mullins has served as a district judge for 15 years. Steins, who fired Fields over the alleged allegation surface, was recently disposed in a civil rights lawsuit tied to Fields' misconduct just days before Mullins was gunned down by Steins. And Steins now faces charges of first-degree murder and murder of a public official, and the case continues to develop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, there was the case in the 70s or the 80s where the dude's daughter was sexually abused, and he waited in the airport for the guy to walk by and blasted him.
Yeah,
you remember that? He ended up getting off. So I don't know. Like, I think we'll just have to wait until more details come out. I'd really be interested to hear the shooter's testimony on the kind of relationship that, or like the exploitation that he's claiming the judge had on the daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's fucking with me or not, but he says the other case, and I'm looking for it.
Well, that was kind of. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to change the subject. Go ahead.
Oh, but no, I mean, I'm in no way condoning walking in and taking justice into your own hands, but maybe a few more people reacted this way.
Well, and that, I mean, you just think about it. Like, that is your justice system.
Well,
like that was the justice system.
Exactly.
There's so much stuff that happens within like politicians in Kentucky, and I assume it happens everywhere.
It's everywhere, dude, for sure.
But Southeastern Kentucky is a place where it could have been this. He could have done something with his daughter, or he could have just off this guy because he ratted on him or was going to rat on him. That's a big thing around here.
Could have been a number of things.
Yeah,
that's why I say I'll be interested to hear more, because I just feel like there's a lot more that we don't even know at this point. but it keeps
Well-
it's like slowly coming out.
Yeah, my aunt used to have a small restaurant and coffee shop in the downtown area of our hometown, and that's where all the attorneys are. That's where the judges' offices are, the court, and all that. And she said, there were days that they literally sat in her coffee shop determining who was going to get time, who was going to do what. She said it was just, they sat around drinking coffee. Oh, well, okay, I need you to do this for this guy. Okay, well, what are you willing to do for this? She said, I saw more cases discussed and, in her coffee shop. And that's totally inappropriate.
Yeah.
I'm under the firm. I feel like this might have been a situation to where the judge was getting ready to turn state's evidence or something. Because you've heard the saying, snitches get stitches. Well, in Kentucky, it's always been snitches get slugs. From everything I've known. And we were conditioned like that. Even in grade school, for example, if we told on somebody for doing something, they would get in trouble. But you would also get in trouble, and you had to wear a sign that said tattletale. And you both got in trouble. So they kind of condition you not to do that for the simple fact that snitching on people gets slugs. But so it could have been like one of those situations where he's going to turn state evidence.
Yeah, but sadly, and I know what you mean about in school, and you see it in the justice system also, is that okay, they make it look like a good thing to do when they're talking to inmates or they're talking to somebody that they've arrested. Well, if you do this, then you'll get a better time or whatever. But then they turn right back around, and they're the very ones that will turn around and say, "Oh, well, he snitched."
Yeah.
So
it's a crazy situation.
We got a lot of heavy stuff today, so I'm gonna interrupt with a.
But before you do that, if you have any topics you want us to cover, email WITF@gmx.com, and we won't open links, so copy and paste.
Definitely copy and paste. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Stephen.
So there's apparently a radio signal in Russia that's been transmitting for the last 35 years. And it's a lot of people think that it's haunted, like people hear weird stuff on it. It's called UVB 76, and it's known as the buzzer. And it's a shortwave radio station that's been broadcasting continuously since the 1970s, occasionally interrupted by cryptic voices and transmissions. Theories range from military function to, like I said a minute ago, ghosts, just because of how long it's been on. It's kind of people speculate that it could be related to strategic rocket forces or a dead man switch for nuclear retaliation. But yeah, it's very weird sounding. I linked a link there, Cecil. I don't know if you want to pull it up. There's a live stream of it going 24/7.
I was typing something. What were we talking about?
Hit the
buzzer.
I'm joking about it. Let me find the right one here, though. I've got so many windows open. My bad.
Oh, you're good.
Does it need sound?
Yeah.
Does this have?
Yes. Nothing's coming through right now. It doesn't sound like.
What?
Yesterday when I was listening to it, there was some weird noises and stuff.
There is right now. You can't hear it.
No, I heard it for a second. I thought
some static. Yeah.
No, you must have sound turned off. If you're hearing it and we aren't.
I'm hearing it, and you guys aren't, so I'm gonna reshare. But
we heard it for a second.
It does sound very, very weird. Let's see.
People
weird.
Yeah, people claim to hear women's voices and foghorns, all kinds of stuff.
I didn't hear that, but maybe you will.
I think that's good.
Yeah, I can't listen to that too much
Yeah,
longer.
so even that live stream on YouTube has been running since June, I think. Whenever I looked at it, so definitely weird. That's been going since the 70s.
Yeah. Do you know the first time I remember hearing about this? Are you familiar with Shooter Jennings, the
Yeah.
singer? Okay, he has one album. It's where he's got it listed as Shooter Jennings and the Hierophant, and it's this guy is the last outlaw radio station, and he's playing music that's been outlawed. And he's waiting for him to come and get him, and it goes through this whole thing, and it's all of this DJ talking in between it. Well, I was researching the song and everything, and it's really interesting because Stephen King, the writer, had commented one time that he would love to collaborate with Shooter Jennings on an album. So he came up with this idea and he sent it to Stephen King and said, hey, here's what I've got in mind. Well, Stephen King went in and changed some stuff up and sent it back and said, will this work? He's like, yeah, that's perfect. So Stephen King's actually the DJ on this album. But where he got the idea of this was from this UVB 76. That's
crazy.
The first time he had heard about it, he's like, well, that would be interesting, and everything. So it's really cool. The album's cool. Really cool too.
I like to listen to that one. I haven't listened to Shooter in a long time.
Like I said, it was just one of those things that popped up in, a recommended play one day. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? I'm not listening to anything else right now. And I ended up downloading the album and everything, just to listen to it from beginning to end, because it's this whole dialogue and everything. So yeah, if you get the chance, definitely listen to it.
Hey,
I'm going to hit one more before we get super heavy again. Just to enrage everybody, or hopefully enrage everybody. This is definitely some shock jock material, but you'll never guess who's coming back.
Who's that?
Enron.
Enron's coming back. Don't call it back. We've been here for years.
So the Enron Corporation has announced its relaunch with a focus on tackling global energy challenges through technology and sustainable solutions. And it goes on like that. You get the gist. But just so everybody knows who Enron is, they were founded in 1985 as a merger of Houston Natural Gas and Internorth. The company initially focused on natural gas pipelines, but quickly expanded into energy trading and international ventures and services. It became one of the largest energy companies globally, with revenues over $100 billion by the year 2000. And there's a lot that went into the downfall, but they used SPEs, which are special purpose entities, to hide debt and inflate profits. And these offshoot entities allowed the company to appear more profitable and less indebted than it actually was. Which I'm sure that they're not the only ones doing it. They were just a scapegoat at the time, but they used market-to-market accounting, a practice where projected future profits from contracts were recorded as current earnings. If the projected profits never materialized, the company didn't adjust its books, leading to inflated earnings. Enron's top executives, including CEO Jeffrey Skilling and Chairman Kenneth Lay, encourage these high risk and unethical behaviors. By late 2001, their financial practices finally were noticed by analysts and regulators. They probably didn't pay the right people. And in October 2001, the company announced a $618 million loss and a $1.2 billion reduction in shareholder equity due to hidden debts. There was a bunch of executives that faced criminal charges. Skilling was sentenced to 24 years in prison, which was later reduced. And Kenneth Lay actually died before he was able to be sentenced. But basically, their shareholders and their employees lost billions, and the company's value evaporated, which is why, leads me back to the beginning, I have no idea how they're coming back, or why anyone would want to revive that brand. Like it's, right. I know it's been 25 years, but everybody from millennials backwards remembers the
Enron
terrible,
scandal.
the terrible business practices.
So we're not financial gurus, but the long story short, go ahead and invest.
Yeah. Well, if they go publicly traded, you absolutely should invest, because there's no way that brand is coming back unless someone's cooking books somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you remember LimeWire? The original bootlegging downloading place. They're back as an AI company.
Stop.
LimeWire?
The same company that had the downloading engines in the 90s and early 2000s is now an AI company.
Next will be FrostWire running for president.
Right?
What was the other one? Kaza,
Yeah, and I like Pirate Bay.
Napster.
Pirate Bay's still around. Pirate Bay
Is it?
everywhere. Yeah.
It was one of those that you'd go one day and it would say we can't find it, and then you'd go back 2 hours later and it would be there.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I guess we might as well hit the elephant in the room this week.
I mean, this next one's a heavy topic. We're going to go at this one a little more professional than usual, on my behalf anyway. But you guys can do whatever you want. This one's a wild one. It literally goes to show you're not safe no matter how much money you have, no matter how much power you have. So I'll let Tully get started.
That's a great segue, sir. So I'm sure by now everybody knows about the United Healthcare CEO that was assassinated this week. And allegedly the shooter also left messages on the bullets. And I believe the messages were on the casings, rather. There was the word delay on one of the casings, the word deny on one of the casings, and the word defend on one of the casings. And there's a lot of stuff that is getting shuffled around in the media right now. A lot of stuff that people are getting wrong. Like there are pictures that came out of the shooter initially, which I think Cecil can show that original picture where he has the pistol up.
Oh yeah.
And we'll come back to that one in a minute. So you can tell this is the one picture that everybody thinks is real. The other picture that Cecil slid by a minute ago, they've released what they believed to be facial pictures of the shooter, and it came out later on today that this is actually not the same person, and this person has came forward to be like, hey, like not all white guys in New York like
with a hoodie on.
Yeah, with a hoodie on is a killer. So right now this is pretty much the only picture of the shooter that they have. And apparently the dude, he waited a long time. It was a very intentional hit, if you will. And here's kind of where we get into conspiracy territory. So I told you the name of the book was, not the name of the book. We'll get to the name of the book.
Yeah.
The words on the casings were delay, deny, and defend. And it turns out that there is a book that is being referenced here. Why insurance companies don't pay claims and what you can do about it.
Yeah, I've not read the book, but I'm interested to see if it's got this in it.
So if you
curious about that.
Yeah, if you go to Google, apparently Amazon's already took this book down. It seems like Google has already removed the book after the events. Like as soon as they said what was on the casings, it got removed. I'm sure you could find a PDF of it though. If you dig hard enough. I just did a quick sweep before the show, and the first results, you can put these words into Google: delay, deny, and defend, and this book does not pop up first thing for purchase. You can go to the images and it's there, but
if you look up his name, the author's name, it lists it under his books, but it does not.
No.
Yeah.
Got you.
And are you going to touch on the weapon?
Do you have it up like that?
I
the
don't have it
information?
up. I don't,
What?
but we can describe it for sure.
So hang on, I can get it really quick. I just didn't know if you.
I thought you
Already-
were reaching over to pick up one that was just like it to show
No.
us.
that's going to be a thing about this because the weapon
it's a-
that they suspect it is pretty rare.
It's a boutique weapon. So it is a B&T Station 6.9, and the roots of this gun that you saw in the picture traces its roots back to covert World War II. And this is a replica of this spy pistol. It is
wow.
it is a bolt action 9mm with a silencer built into the pistol. And in the video, if you see the video, it looks like his gun jams. It's not a jam. He has to re-rack it after every shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really cool looking.
Yeah, it is a cool looking gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not something that you're going to just have. And there has to be reason that they used it for covert operations back then. But there's still no confirmation that it's actually that type of gun. That's not came out yet. But watching it, everybody thought he was clearing a chamber, like Tully said. But this is literally a bolt action piece, and it didn't look like he was clearing a chamber to me, because when you clear a chamber, you do rack it and whatnot. But what he was doing was he would rack it, then he would tap it, just like that. That's not clearing the chamber.
Yeah, and there are how this came up. There were gun experts who were watching the video, I guess, who knew about these boutique weapons, because you're not going to find this gun at a middle of a mall gun store. It would take a specialist to even know what the gun is, and you're probably not going to know about it unless you're either a DEF CON level gun enthusiast or you're in an agency.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of rumors right now about the nature of this hit, from him using fake aliases for everything. He took a bus instead of driving a car. He had a change of clothes and changed out his clothes in a crowd. There's just all kinds of stuff swirling right now. So I think maybe by next Friday that we should have a meaningful update. But I can say, like, the sentiment, the general online sentiment, it seems like people are torn on how this all went down, because, you see people in the comments being like, well, my family member died because they couldn't get the insurance to go through for XYZ surgery. I could certainly see it being a situation like that where somebody was denied a claim or something, and they're at their financial noose, so to speak.
Yeah.
But this doesn't stop the machine. If you want to show the show goes on.
This is crazy to me.
So here's the wreck.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
He doesn't make nearly what I thought he did.
Well, it's never the base salary.
Yeah.
Like when you hear CEO salaries, that includes bonuses and stock options.
Yeah.
So this is probably $450K a year plus, at least
the other $450K and stuff.
Yeah, at least that in a bonus, and then probably another $500,000 in stock options a year.
Yeah.
You figure they would have waited just like 4 or 5 days.
A day.
No, and actually, they still had the meeting that he was killed going to.
Wow.
So he was on his way to a board meeting or something, and
I'm sure somebody said, "Well, he'd want us to carry on."
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny, but I know how corporate America is. We've all been there.
For the shareholders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I applied for it, so we'll see.
Listen, we're not being insensitive. We always give a little bit of a comedic touch to this kind of stuff because it's so heavy.
That is don't take the law into your hands if you can avoid it. This guy waited for this person and murdered him in cold blood. Shot him in the back, even. You know what I mean? Like,
Whether it was
Yeah.
an everyday person is yet to be seen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, he could have ticked off the wrong person in that board meeting earlier that day.
Yeah.
I mean, things like that do happen, sadly.
Yeah.
In the world of ancient petroglyphs, I see you pulling up.
That pissed me off.
So there in Utah, there was a tourist that apparently got caught defacing an ancient petroglyph, and they have identified at least one of them.
Great. So this is them.
That's them.
Yeah.
And so a Utah tourist was one of two people seen vandalizing ancient petroglyphs at a historical site. Her name is Daniela Ganassim Erickson. She was arrested on Saturday, according to Utah's Bureau of Land Management, after defacing the ancient Native American rock carving. Unnamed man was also found by the police, but his information has not yet been publicly released. I couldn't find his name either.
I love that they have them held at purgatory.
Yeah, yeah. But they estimated the damages to be, I don't even know how they put a number on it. They said $7,000 in damage, but if you're destroying ancient petroglyphs, like that's invaluable.
Well, there are a couple in other states. I know in Wyoming, there's that one site that's really not easy to get to. I can't remember the name of it, but they've shut that down so that people can't even go to it now because of that very type thing. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah,
people are stupid. Like they want to be part of it. Some people want to be part of history. She probably wrote like Lulu, Jane or something, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, from everything I found, they're not even. They may be American, like they may have visas, but they weren't. They weren't born in America, like they're from the UK.
Wow.
So I don't know. And I know Morgana said this, but they're being held in Purgatory Correctional Facility in Washington County, Utah.
I just don't understand what would run through your mind to be like, I can do that. Yeah, it shouldn't bother anything. Like, you know,
I don't know. Like maybe it's like an ego thing. Like
everybody has the intrusive thought, like I should write my name on that, you know, but you never do, unless it's a bathroom wall,
or like just to be able to like brag to people that you did that when it's all over the news or something. Like thinking there weren't any cameras or anything out there.
Or thinking that's impressive.
I still go in bathrooms and write for a good time, call Tully and put his phone number. But that's just all in good fun. This is ruining something forever.
Yeah.
Bathroom stalls are not, historic land pieces. So.
We had one on here last week, and this one really, really bothers me on a level too. There were parents arrested outside of a Washington school after attempting to honor kill their daughter.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah, honor killing. Two Washington parents are facing criminal charges, including attempted kidnapping, assault, and attempted murder during what is being called an attempted honor killing of their daughter outside of high school.
Honor killing?
Yeah. According to court documents, outside of the Timberline High School in Lacey, Washington, the girl's parents, Ison and Zahara Ali, were both arrested after the 17-year-old victim told law enforcement that her father had been threatening to kill her in an honor killing after she refused to go for an arranged marriage to an older man.
Oh.
The daughter, who was not identified, went to school for help, and witnesses saw the father had his daughter in a chokehold. Bystanders stepped in to break up the fight, which they thought was amongst teenagers, and realized it was the girl's father choking her to the point that she had lost consciousness. So,
and there is a graphic video of this. I don't know if you want to play it, Cecil. If you want to.
Let me see if we got it keyed.
All right. So, the girl told police. Oh, you got it?
I don't think I have it keyed in.
Okay.
You'll have to go to the email and scroll.
Yep.
I kind of don't want to see a little girl getting choked to death by her dad. Honestly.
Well, it's a lot of it's blurred. I was just saying, if you want a dramatic effect.
All right, no, I'm good on that.
Okay.
They said, that the other students, had tried to break it all up. The girl had a boyfriend. He attempted to pull her away, and then the mother took over choking her while the father punched the boyfriend in the face. A witness, Josh Wagner, said he stepped in to break up what he thought was a fight between teens and saw the dad holding the daughter in the chokehold, and said he was able to get the girl loose and hold the father down until the police arrived. Once free, the girl ran into the school screaming, "My dad is trying to kill me. He was trying to kill me," which triggered a lockdown and stopped the parents from being able to get to her again. So court documents stated that a prior physical incident with the family forced the school to obtain a temporary protection order against the mother and ban her from school property. The previous altercation was part of a string of incidences with the family, according to court documents. The girl is now reportedly in a safe place as the investigation continues.
That's so nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay, first off, in this day and age, people are trying to force their daughter into arranged marriages in this country.
Yeah. And you can if you're interested, you can go find this video on Twitter or, not YouTube.
Right.
but it is absolutely brutal. It all happens really fast. But you can tell that he's definitely trying to inflict as much harm as possible.
Yeah.
You're right. I can't imagine people trying to kill their own daughter because she doesn't want to be in an arranged marriage here.
Right. I used to watch it all the time. I haven't in the last couple of years, but I used to watch Law and Order SVU, and occasionally they touch on that type subject where somebody that was, a migrant from another country, their one's brother did an honor killing because she dishonored the family by, dating some guy they didn't approve of or something. And I'm like, okay, this is fiction, but I know it's based on a reality, I mean, there are customs in other countries that I'll never understand, but once you move to a new country, then you should be willing to adopt their laws.
That's my thing. You can have those kind of values in a place where it's appropriate. And in those cases, I'm sure that your sons and daughters would also have those values in most cases in those countries.
Right.
But here, I think is where that's where the whole problem is. Is
exactly.
that, honor killing your daughter in front of a high school probably isn't the best play in America.
Right. And the fact that, okay, you came here for a reason, most likely because you wanted a better life for your family. Because something wasn't good in the country you were leaving. So, no, I'll never understand that.
Yeah,
I wanted to choke my daughter a time or two as a teenager. I will freely admit that, but for different reasons entirely.
Yeah. I've got a cool one. Well, it's cool but scary. So China has turned on a hypergravity machine to compress time and space.
Wow. Nothing horrible is going to happen with that.
Think Dragon Ball Z, like how they had the chamber where it was 10 times gravity to train in and stuff. So a new facility containing what has been described as the world's most advanced hypergravity machine has just begun operation, according to state media. The machine, reportedly capable of attaining forces that exceed Earth's natural surface gravity by thousands of times, aims to advance scientists' understanding of a diverse range of processes from the mountain formation to catastrophic collapses of infrastructure. Formerly known as the Centrifugal Hypergravity and Interdisciplinary Experiment Facility, CHIEF, the facility is based in Hangzhou, China, and will provide unique research platforms that cater to scientists working on some of the world's greatest modern engineering challenges. So I guess my question, and there's a lot to this if you want to go look it up. Again, and I don't know, Cecil, do you have that picture queued of what the facility looks like?
I believe so.
It looks crazy.
Yeah.
But
Kinda looks like
basically,
spaceship.
basically what's happening is they induce hypergravity conditions using a very rapid spin. I don't know what that means. But
Yeah,
in the like a centrifuge, I guess.
have you ever been on that ride that comes around where it spins around real fast and it sticks you to?
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. I
shoot up
got you.
the side.
Yeah.
So it's a hypergravity centrifuge, and this facility exceeds anything currently in use by the United States Army Corps of Engineers. This means that this will operate. I don't know if I'm getting this right, but it looks like it's going to be operating at 1,900 times the gravity,
Wow.
which is a lot.
My only issue with this, if you believe in gravity, which I don't,
There we go.
if you're creating gravity that's 1,000 times stronger than it is on Earth, what happens if the moon passes over it? You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of like you would think, and maybe we're over complicating it.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you could argue that why doesn't the amusement parks rides? You're right, Easy. It's always something, but that somebody in the comments of this article was like, "What are the implications on the rest of the planet? Like, could this sway the trajectory of the planet where it's so strong?"
Yeah.
Implications on, like you said, lunar cycles, tides, magnetic fields, you name it.
Mm.
And nobody's asking those questions that I saw in the article, but yeah.
Why would they?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
you're supposed to accept this without question.
well,
Make sure you carpool though. No.
What's scary is gravity also plays a part, and I'm not this smart, but gravity does play a part in Tom.
Yeah.
And just like a great movie, Interstellar.
Yeah.
Like different gravities on the different planets.
That was a great movie.
Changed the way that Tom worked. And one thing to note in this article is it says that they want to compress time and space, which leads me to believe that they're also doing time experiments in there.
They're going to open a fucking black hole. Like, that's what black holes are. They're high gravity and they compress time and space. Yeah,
so there's a lot of implications in that. They're completely unchained, and nobody ever wants to hold them accountable for anything. So I guess they're just going to do it. Like, who knows?
Science.
In the name of science. Yes.
I mean,
but I vaguely remember this guy named Frankenstein.
It might not do anything to it. It might just be like a spectacular version of that ride at your local carnival.
Yeah,
but
it's just scary when people start talking about bending time space.
I'm gonna take space and time like this and do this with it.
or like Art McConaughey in that one show where he's like, "Time is a flat circle."
God, that's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
I'm gonna sleep good in that. But
I'm glad.
That's insane. We'll see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
or we won't. We will just cease to exist.
Yeah, you'll never know. Like,
I imagine there'll be a bunch of new Mandelas when this gets fired up.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a Mandela episode. We always do one before the end of the year on Weird Awakenings. So
I'll probably do
that. But if you aren't already following us wherever you're listening, give us a follow or go to Twitter and follow us. We post show updates there. We do have a guest for December, and it's going to be a big one. It is someone who has been studying not only UAP UFOs for the last 30 years. He is also we'll say an expert on biblical prophecy, like Nephilim. So more to come on that. We'll disclose once we get everything locked down, and we'll get the promo stuff out. But give us a follow.
Cool.
And tentatively, that'll be on the 21st of December.
And come and check us out every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. 8, time zones.
7-6 Central.
Yeah. The Out of the Blank episode apparently was too hot for TV, so I don't know when he's going to release it, but it will be on audio only. Usually, whenever I talk to Rob, we go a little deep into stuff that YouTube might not like.
It's crazy. We've managed to go without a strike until we played that music video last week.
It wasn't a strike. They're just letting us know.
Hey, look, we did. It was last year. We were crazy busy at work, and I had forgotten to do the promo for Awakenings. So I sent a message to somebody and said, "Hey, can you do this for me?" Well, it was right at Halloween, so they put like a 5-second clip of Thriller, just the music in there.
That'll do it.
And the next morning, I had an email from YouTube.
Nice.
You can take it down or we'll take it down. Those are your choices. So now it has Tully's own personal created music as the intro.
They didn't even say they was going to take ours down. They said they're just going to reduce traffic.
They're going to demonetize that video.
Yeah. Which we don't get monetized anyway. Unless you want to buy us coffee. But yeah, and stick around for Weird Awakenings on the Weird Realities Network. What are you guys talking about tonight?
The human-animal connection.
Human-animal connection.
Yep. Awakenings is more of an esoteric show. You can join us in 10-13 minutes on Weird Realities with a Y on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
Yep.
And I'll let you lead it out.
Yep. And, catch us every Friday. And thank you for watching us because we are watching you.
See you.